Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime with Shannon, where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, a lot of new information is starting to come out in the Oklahoma murders of these innocent six right here, along with the perpetrator and gunman who later turned the gun on himself. One of the biggest things that has just been released is some of the family went to the home, and News Nation has an exclusive on that, so let me play that and we can discuss it.
I just want to give you this warning. They're about to take you on a tour through this home, and it is very, very uncomfortable, but you will learn a lot about this Jesse McFadden and what he may have done before killing those kids and his wife. Take a look.
The phone case with like the screen ghost face on the back. Okay. I don't know.
There's a phone.
I don't know them, but I don't hear them. Yeah, those are Tiffany skates.
Tiffany's bad print is the cow print. And the cow slippers over here. Those. Inner witch. Oh my god. What? On the floor over there.
This is a huge. See guys. Get the fuck up right here.
This is the room. Do you remember when they said that they were making Riley sleep on their bedroom floor? Where was she sleeping at? There is no room on that floor. And then here, come over here and you know what's the...
Give me something to grab.
Take
a picture.
Take pictures. It's on video.
That's them.
Give me
Hey, that's them.
Okay.
Use this sack. Dump these locks there.
No, those locks?
That's evidence too.
So is those
He
drugs.
just wants us. That's
that
it.
hers?
Yep. Okay. Hold on.
Call the sheriff.
Yep.
Don't touch them. Don't move them.
Yep. Let's back out.
That's good.
Okay. I'm calling.
Smokey.
Are you done looking?
No.
No. I'm not done looking, but that's evidence.
Okay.
He used our daughter's cell phone.
And whatever's behind that.
Yep. Okay.
And they're not concerned about looking anywhere else. This house needs to be stripped. Oh my god. Okay. Do me a favor.
That's coming. Don't touch anything.
No, that's what I was telling you.
But we touched everything today because we had permission from the sheriff. But we didn't touch the phones. But I was not in the state when this happened, so. Go
So we're getting pictures of all this, honey. This man was a freaking monster. And his wife was too.
This one's my daughter's. I want to know what else is up here and in here. I think there's more. There's computers.
Some of these tablets.
You know.
Well, did you notice the ring?
The ring?
See that ring? The wedding ring right there?
Oh, I thought you were saying camera. God, that would have been great.
Is this on video?
Yeah, I'm just getting all the stuff up there.
Well, I mean, I didn't say too much of it on there.
Yeah?
Yeah, but there's a big old machete, too.
But it's a weapon, so
And
it
it's
should
in
have
here
been
with all
taken.
this sexual paraphernalia.
And then those were right there. They obviously didn't look too hard.
No.
Look, is that another phone or what is that? Look, hey, that one's still on. That computer, whatever that tablet thing is.
Yeah, it's on.
Not only that,
A syringe
And needles.
and needles.
hey,
Oh my.
that's cocaine works. It's gotta be.
I don't know what to say. How did the cops not get all that? And they opened up a crime scene, this home, to the families to go out there of the two girls, and there's computers there, there's a needle, drugs, sexual paraphernalia, chains. What is going on in that home? What was going on in that home? And the cops and CSI should have locked that place down. Gosh knows what evidence is in that place. And like the family is saying, there may be other victims. And I'm hoping they take care of this. I mean, it's horrible that they had to have the families go in there and discover this before they take action, but it's heartbreaking. It truly, truly is. And you hate to think of what these kids may have gone through in that home. And it's really, really sad that the mother didn't reach out for help. It truly is. But I want to get into also the information on the former prison cellmate also spoke on Banfield, that spent time in prison with McFadden. McFadden, for those who don't know that information, he was convicted in 2003 for RAing a then 16-year-old girl. A crime that was supposed to land him in prison for at least 20 years. His victim, Crystal Strong, was violently attacked at knife point by McFadden. And there's also clips from News Nation speaking to her as well. Apparently, the guest family told News Nation, and I believe they also told Brooks on Crime Lines and Lies, that McFadden reportedly paid a woman to impersonate this victim, Crystal Strong, to talk to Holly and tell her that it was all a misunderstanding and that she was 19 and not 16 when the assault took place, and that it was really nothing, and that he served all this time for nothing. But let me pull up the bit of a prison interview on Banfield with the former cellmate of Jesse McFadden.
You know, you learn a lot, like a lot, about somebody if you are locked up with them for 16 months in a cell, just the two of you. You'll learn a lot. You can either really like that person or you can come to really hate that person. And it sounds as though the person who was locked up with Jesse McFadden, that name is familiar because he just killed his entire family and 2 kids who were sleeping over. All 7 bodies found dumped on his sex offender ranch, that's his registered address, in Oklahoma. And now his former cellmate is speaking out. To be clear, his former cellmate was not in for the same filthy charges that Jesse McFadden was in for. James Fleming was his cellmate, was not in for any kind of sexual offense, let me be clear. But he certainly knew Jesse McFadden well, knew him personally, ended up sharing a 2-man prison cell with that rapist, mass murderer, for more than a year, but he joins me live now. James, thank you so much for being on. I'm sure all of this comes as an absolute shock. Can you give me some insight as to the person who Jesse McFadden was, the person you knew?
So when I first met Jesse, he just seemed like a normal, clean cut, another inmate, another convict. But, as we moved in together and we shared a cell, it's about, I would say about 6 months into it, I just realized how weird he was. His conversations would always turn into sexual conversations. He was just a very awkward guy. I caught him, stalking nurses down at the medical facilities. He was just your very, very awkward, weird person.
There was some report that he had actually assaulted someone in the prison as well.
I don't know. I'm not sure about him assaulting anybody in the prison. It might have been before I knew him.
Okay. While you had, you say that you never were at ease, that you slept with one eye open. Tell me about that.
Oh, definitely. So about 6 months into our, living arrangement, he came out and told me that he was in prison for rape. Of course, he justified it. He gave me his side of the story, which I found out later was not true. But, at the same time, he's telling me that, his first rape offense was like statutory, I guess you would call it, like a 18-year-old and a 17-year-old girl and her parents found out or whatever. But, I'm sitting there thinking about it while he's telling me, and I'm just like, man, you don't get 20 years for that, a statutory rape charge. You get 20 years for something very serious and very violent. So he knew that I knew that he was full of crap, And so after that day, just the demeanor in our cell changed. And unfortunately, in Oklahoma, you can't move out of a cell. Once you're in there with somebody, you're stuck. Unless you fight them or you get in trouble, you're stuck with them. So I was stuck. And I definitely was very uneasy. When you're locked in there with somebody at night, you can't get out. Nobody can hear you if you guys are fighting or anything. And so I always had to look over my back. I always had to sleep with one eye open, definitely.
Were you angry that he was let out of his sentence 3 years early, ultimately still facing similar kinds of charges of child pornography?
Well, yeah, of course. We stopped being cellmates in 2015. And even throughout the rest of my incarceration, and then whenever I got out of prison, I kept up with him. I was looking on the Oklahoma State Court Network to see when he was going to have to face, the charges that he got while he was at that other prison. I was, looking up to see where he lived. That's how I found out him and Holly got married. I was looking up to see, if he had faced these charges that he was accused of, that he was guilty of. And I saw their marriage certificate, and it just blew my mind. I don't know why they would let him out of prison, why they didn't just take him straight to county jail and await those charges.
And I know you're upset because you reached out to police to, let them know that this was a registered sex offender, and it was nerve-wracking that you couldn't even see where he was registered. And then ultimately after the killings, you let them know how upset you were. The one thing that I just want to let our viewers know about is that you actually had quite a deep connection to Holly, his wife, who he just murdered, along with her 3 kids and their 2 friends. That you used to be a pen pal of hers when you were incarcerated. She told you that that she loved him, or she told you that she loved you. And then on February 20th and February 21st, you had this text exchange with her, still as a friend, saying, "Hey," and she texted back, "Hi, how are you?" And you said, "Doing great, finally enjoying my life. I see you have a different last name." And then she says, "Yeah, me and Jesse got married." And you say, "How are the kids?" And she says, "They're great and huge, LOL." So clearly you had a good relationship with her. This must be devastating, this news that not only Holly, but her 3 children are dead.
Yeah, I just feel like this definitely should not have happened. It definitely should have been avoided. After I had that text exchange with her, I contacted the police department where their marriage out of the city where their marriage certificate was listed as, and of course he wasn't on the sex offender registry. So I contacted them. I say, hey, there's an offender in your area. He's not on the registry. They say, well, the state has a public list. And I went and checked that list, couldn't find him, got back to him, said, hey, this guy's a predator. He has multiple offenses, just trying to warn him, just wanted to say something. I couldn't say much to her because I didn't know if he read her text messages. I didn't want him to see them and hurt her, the exchanges between us. I just wanted to keep it, straight, friendly. But, when I reached out to the law enforcement and they didn't get back with me, I was just like, what the heck, man? This could have been avoided. This could have been avoided.
It's confounding. Jesse he was a monster without question.
Listening to Jesse McFadden's former cellmate, he was already apprehensive of him. And he didn't even know he was in for SAR in crime until 6 months into, them sharing a cell. And then he apparently was pen pals and close with Holly and her family, and was later surprised to find out that she married Jesse McFadden. And then he tried to communicate with law enforcement and seemed like it fell on deaf ears as well. And finally, I got one more clip. It's an interview with the survivor, the victim, the reason that Jesse McFadden was supposed to serve 20 years in prison. This is Crystal Strong talking to Banfield, so let's check it out.
The suspect in this horrendous crime is a 39-year-old registered sex offender. I mentioned his name before. It is Jesse McFadden. He had a long criminal history, and in fact, he was due in court just today on child porn charges and soliciting a minor. That he was doing while he was incarcerated. Joining me now is Crystal Strong. Crystal was a child rape victim of McFadden's in 2003, and she helped to put him in jail for 20 years. Crystal, I can't imagine what you're thinking at this time, given what you've been through, and then just hearing from Milena about what she's coping with.
I mean, I'm okay. My trauma's been dealt with. My heart goes out for the families. I begged the DA a long time ago not to ever let him out of prison because I knew that he would do this to someone else. I've never been contacted about when he was getting out. The last time I heard from anybody was when I was 17, and the DA or whoever it was told me that Jesse was really high on meth, that he's sorry, things happen and I need to learn how to forgive. And I hung up on her and I tried to suppress the memories and move on with my life. I don't have any contact with Canadian Shores or any of that area. And the minute I heard about this morning, I had a gut-wrenching feeling that those babies weren't going to come out of there.
Crystal, this happened to you at the same age. I mean, Brittany's mom just told us she had only just turned 15. You were 16 when he attacked you. What was the circumstance?
He was actually, so I grew up, my dad lived around there, around Canadian Shores, and I grew up with his girlfriend and her sister. And he had showed up. I had been at a party that night in McAllister, and I had left my truck in McAllister and got drove home by someone else, some friends. And 3 friends actually, and my stepmom had drove by that night in the middle of my rape, but they kept going because my truck wasn't there. But Jesse had showed up and kept telling me that Holly kicked him out. He needed somewhere to go, things like that. And I was like, look, you really just need to call Holly. Like, you don't need to be here. And then I remember just being shoved through my door, a sock in my mouth, and being tied up to my own bed. and just horrible things happening. I remember the DA telling me that I would never have children. I just suppressed a lot of those memories, and then today brought it all back. And I just, all I wanted was those babies to be brought home.
And that's what we were all hoping for when that alert went out, that they would find those girls.
I've been talking to Caitlin Babb. They've been putting her case on the back burner for a lot of years. The girl with the pornography, with the charges that he was supposed to go to court for, he basically told her this morning, and I have screenshots of him telling her that when this all goes down, this is going to be your fault. And supposedly she gave that to the cops, I guess, and nothing was done.
And I want to be really clear, Crystal, you're talking about Caitlin. She was the subject of those lewd photographs that Jesse McFadden had in prison on a contraband phone. And she has spoken with you and given permission for you to tell her story.
Yes. She said that everybody keeps blowing her off.
Sorry, repeat that?
She said everyone keeps blowing her off and not doing anything. She's been just shoved off to the back burner. And then last night, Jesse had messaged her, I guess from a fake account called Holidays. I have that screenshotted too, telling her, I've done everything I was supposed to do, and you just won't let well enough alone, basically. And now this is going to be on you. Basically, I felt like he was telling her he was going to do something, and she took it to I said, you need to take that to the cops. And she said, I did, and nothing's being done. And she was prepared to go through with this court hearing today, because this court hearing today for him was about that. She's been trying to do this. This all happened, I guess, when she was 15 years old. He even told her about me back when all this happened, tried telling her that it all started like I was trying to do it with him. And then all of a sudden I didn't want it anymore. He had that girl so brainwashed.
So why was Jesse McFadden let free? Hearing from his original victim, Crystal, and hearing from his former cellmate, this guy is scary. Not only did he assault and this young woman and get put in prison, and they decided to release him for quote-unquote good behavior, he gets another charge before he's released in 2020 for using a contraband cell phone in jail and contacting a minor and sending nude photos. As if that's not more than enough to keep this pervert in jail. Why? Why did Oklahoma let him out of jail? This man should have been behind bars. These 6 people on the screen would not be dead right now if they would have kept Jesse McFadden locked up behind bars. And they didn't listen to Crystal. They didn't listen to this former victim who pretty much begged them not to release her attacker. And the victim in the 2017 crime that he was supposedly supposed to face charges for on the day they discovered all the bodies and the massacre, they didn't seem to be listening to her either. And yeah, Holly's mom knew some of this stuff, obviously not to this extent. And it's sad that she didn't take those red flags, but the bulk and almost the entire part of this blame goes on to Oklahoma. Law enforcement, corrections, the court systems, all these agencies who didn't even have him listed on the predator registry. What the hell is going on, Oklahoma? I've heard good things about your state, but this case right here has me wondering what the hell is going on, you know? These 6 people wouldn't be dead right now if you would have kept this horrible, sick pervert behind bars. No excuse whatsoever. And now you have the families going to this going to the home that you apparently released should still be a crime scene. Mind you, you found 6 people plus McFadden dead there. Should still be a crime scene. You let them on there and they discover all this evidence. Drugs, sexual paraphernalia, chains, mattresses everywhere, filth. Why? And computers. Why weren't all these things taken into evidence? Granted, you can't go and prosecute him now because he's dead, but who else was a victim of McFadden? Like the family said, how do you know that there's not any other victims out there that were in that home, that were tortured, attacked, and AR'd? We don't know. And I'm sure those computers contain all kinds of pornography. So I really hope they're going to get their act together and have gone over there to that home and taken this evidence and locked down this home. Because there's no excuse for that whatsoever either. So I'm going to again keep track of this one. I tell you, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. You know, when you think you've hit it deep, these cases just keep going. And this one, I don't know, it's really hard. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I'll do another video soon once I get some more information. And with that said, that's all I've got for this one. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.